What's up, my loves? What's up? This is the second episode called Broken Glass Houses. Okay. As a child growing up, I saw the way that my grandfather treated my grandmother. And I always said to myself, if I don't have that type of love, I don't want it. Okay. My grandfather is literally a real man. Not these little boys you see out here. Not these so-called men that don't want to be men, but they want to be women because they mad feminine. Not that. We're not talking about those type of people. My grandfather was a real man. My grandfather will open up the doors for my grandmother. You guys. He was a chef for the president in his country when he lived out there. Mind y'all. All right. And he cooked for the president. So he had, like, little skills and shit. He would cook for my grandmother all the time. And my grandmother knew how to cook, y'all. But he would cook for her all the time. My grandfather never, ever cut my grandmother off when they was talking. The respect was crazy. You understand what I'm saying to you? And if someone dared to talk really weird or out of pocket of my grandmother, he will fucking chew you up. He loved that woman with his life to the point that when she died, y'all, he couldn't stop singing the songs that they had hooked up with, like the songs that they liked. When she passed away, my grandfather for a whole year asked God to kill him, yo, because he wanted to be with his wife. He kept singing the songs that he would sing to her because my grandfather was married for 60-something years and my grandfather loved that woman to death. My grandfather gave my grandmother everything. She was literally his like backbone. You understand what I'm saying? And so unfortunately, we don't have that in today's society. Today's society, we're living in glass houses. In where people are looking into our homes and judging what's going on in your homes and not understanding that the reason why that home is that way is because it was created. That home that you have that's broken, that has problems in it, is a created situation. And guess who started it? The government. Yup, they did. You know what they did? Y'all, my nose itching. There's a guy that was running for presidency. His name is Larry Elder. Look him up, y'all, if y'all think I'm lying. He talks more about this in depth so you guys can educate yourselves a little bit about this. All right. The welfare system was enacted back in the 1800s. What they used to have was a system that when you needed money, like if you didn't have no money, you needed to fix something in your property, like the government would allow you to basically work for that. So like if you needed a loan, they would give you the loan, but you would work in labor for the loan. So it was like a job. All right. Back down south areas, okay, before the whole welfare system was created, there was a group which is now considered the Democrats, y'all. And so there was a group of men and women, but mostly it was comprised of men, per Larry Elder, obviously. It's obviously on the internet as well. You guys can like look this up, okay? The welfare system was there to provide you with benefits. But what they did was they would take homes of families that were married, that were together, and they would say, you could get so many more benefits if your husband wasn't here. If you was a single mom, you could get this, and that for free. And this was the first curse that was placed upon humanity, upon families, making them single, fatherless homes. This is how it got started. Because a woman that has 5 or 6 kids, Understanding where she's coming from is very important right now, y'all. Imagine your husband can barely feed you and your kids. Y'all are struggling. Even though you have your little happy family, y'all are struggling. But now someone comes to you and puts this dream in front of you. Tells you, hey, you could have this, you could have that. We could give you money to take care of you and your kids. We'll give you that little piece of land for you to raise your kids and you can grow crops in it. What are you going to do as a woman? Do you really have much of an option? You understand what I'm saying? I don't foresee that you have an option because the way that society is now, it's literally worse now than it was back then. But that was what created a lot of fatherless homes with minorities. A lot of women left their husbands. They kicked their husbands out of their house. And they got on welfare because that was what was being promoted. All right. Another important thing to think about. Think about this. You have a little ass house. You don't have any way to feed your kids. Someone come and offer you land. What you going to say? Hell yeah. What I got to do? You know what I mean? The problem was that created broken houses, fatherless children, men wanting to not take responsibility for their kids. Okay? The welfare system gave people benefits. They still do it now. They give you benefits if your spouse is not in the home. If your partner's not in the home. If your partner's in the home, let's say you got 3 kids with a guy, right? And that man has a job. And he's paying the rent. Y'all are barely fucking making it, mind you. DSS turns around and goes, well, he's in the home and let me see his paycheck. Oh, well, for this household size, you know, we can't help you because you are making too much money. And literally, y'all know damn well the money that your spouse is making, your partner, your boyfriend or your spouse, whatever, is going towards the rent or the mortgage. You know what I'm saying? And now you got to worry about the fact that you don't even hardly have any money to eat because now they said no to that. What are you going to do? What do people do? People turn around and get a job that pays less money, knowing they're not making it, just so they can go and get some food stamps, just so they can go and get public assistance, and they kick their partners out the house. A fatherless home will create daughters that are broken and sons that are broken. Okay? When a mother teaches her daughter that she doesn't need a man in the home to survive, she's telling her daughter to be a single woman. You could do it all on your own. You could stress yourself out. You could work every single day. You can go bananas in a fucking factory to pay your rent when you're not supposed to be doing that. So now you've taken the job of the man and you've taken the job of the woman. You're working every day to pay for a home. You're raising your children on your own. And then you wonder why you have such high rates of women catching autoimmune diseases, of women dying of heart attacks, which is the number 1 killer of women is heart attacks, y'all. Then you wonder why you have kids that are out here committing crimes because they're growing up in fatherless homes. Look up the FBI crimereports.gov so you guys can see so much data on crime being committed based on minorities, based on this, based on that. It'll tell you what their crimes were. There is so much data out here, y'all, that'll show you things that'll blow your mind like wide open. It's like a can of worms because not everybody's going to agree with what I'm saying. But the truth to the matter is that a woman was not made to labor. That's not what a woman is there for. A woman is made to provide love to her children, to be nurturing, to show her children to be good, to raise someone in society that will be valuable. Men are meant to teach their sons how to labor, how to be good husbands. If your husband or your spouse, your partner, is a good man, then your son's gonna be a good man, because that's something that trickles down based on the generations. Think about what your son is learning when he's looking inside of his home. He sees his mother busting her ass, working every day to pay for everything. And there's no real male figure there. His father's not there. He's thinking, my dad don't love me. My dad didn't love us. That's why he left. Not realizing that he's going to take on that childhood trauma and it's going to shape him into the man that he will become. And where he will turn around and curse another woman with that. And where he will have children out of wedlock. Because he will not feel the need to want to marry someone and make things work. And where he will leave another woman, mother, a single mother, and he will be out of the picture. Think about that for a minute, you guys. Think about where we are in society. Why there's so much feminization when it comes to men. Why a lot of men want a woman to do 50-50 when they know damn well that you're doing 100 and they're probably the only ones that are doing the 50. Because they grew up in a broken home, they think that they don't have to take care of their woman. They want to fall short as a man. And yes, because you have an XY chromosome, that makes you a male. But the word man, it does not apply to everyone with a penis and balls. Sorry, it doesn't. It doesn't. You cannot sit here and say you're a man when you don't want to take responsibilities of a man, when you're acting like a woman, when you're bickering with your female, when you're acting like you don't want to get married to your person, but you got like 10, 20 kids with that person. When you acting like you don't want to put in the work to be a man and build so you could provide that woman with peace of mind. Women struggle on a daily basis. We go through a lot of hormonal changes. Shit men don't go through. And it becomes more difficult when we are alone, when we're carrying the baggage alone, when we're doing it alone. When you don't have a real man to sit here and say, baby, sit down. I know you had a tough day today. Let me massage you. I'll cook for the kids. I'll help out today. It's so important to understand that the broken homes shape up how a man will treat a woman and how a woman will treat a man, and the disharmony in relationships, the lack of understanding, the lack of self-respect for yourself and your partner. We live in a society that people want to tell you how to live your life. People forget morals, values, and standards. They want to tell you what to do with your kids. They want to impose shit through the TV, through the fucking schools, through the internet, onto your child. They want to try to help you raise this child. I always hear the stupid fucking comment about how it takes a community to raise a child. No, the fuck it doesn't. No, the fuck it does not. It takes the mother and the father. That's who it takes. Those two motherfuckers. The ones that lay down to fucking have them and fucked to have them. You understand what I'm saying? Those are the ones that are responsible for that child and the future of that child. And shaping up a good man or woman so that when you go to where you go, you release into society an upstanding individual, someone that will have a beautiful family, someone that will raise their kids in a great home, a nurturing home that's put together. Offering a program to a family and telling them that they have to break up their family to get that benefit is treacherous. There were people back then, there's still people now that can barely eat. Okay? We have come such a long way, yo, from back then. But back then, men were men. If they needed a loan to uphold their home, to buy land, to feed their families, they worked for the money that the welfare system gave them. Now, you could literally go into the system and say whatever crazy shit and get benefits based on that. You can literally break up your home right now and get benefits more than if you had a home with your spouse in it. You guys, we live in an era that is promoting things to break up families. You know that if you don't have a certain amount of, let's say, let's talk about, because I was going to have this for a different episode for y'all, but I'll touch hint on this right now. Let's take, for example, right? You're in this island of people. You're around people, right? And so you're raised in a specific way, right? Let's say you're raised that, this is an example, y'all. Let's say you're raised that you should not procreate with women. Let's just say that, right? Eventually, you and your generation will cease to exist. There is a lot of thought. There's a lot of brainwashing taking place on men right now, making them think that they don't have to provide for women, making them think that they don't have to do nothing for a woman, making them think that they are the woman. They're in their ego. Remember, 99% of these people, you know what, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to say 96% was raised in single mother homes. Okay? It's a very small amount of those that are raised with the father and the mother in the house. Very tiny amount. But there's some, so I'm going to drop it down 96. I was going to say 97, 99, but we're going to leave it at 96. Remember, they're raised by a woman. There's no male figure to show them how to be masculine. So when you have a man that is raised by a woman, what he knows is what that woman has taught him. And what do women teach? To be weak, not to be masculine. Women teach their sons to be empathetic. A woman's not going to teach her son how to work. A woman's not going to teach her son how to play baseball. They're not going to do that. That's men that do that. Women teach the sons how to be kind. Like, for example, when you have a home with your siblings and the little boy is rough with the girls, what do mothers do? Don't treat your sister like that. You have to love her. Give her a kiss on the boo-boo. Do this and do that. And you feminize your sons. You feminizing your son. And I'm not saying don't correct them. I'm not saying that. Because I always believe that you should always have a man in the home so that your son is masculine and not feminine. But you should not raise an animal either. I'm not saying to raise someone that doesn't act right. With the father in the home, the father will teach the son. We don't treat our women like that. We love and respect our women. We have to value our women. They teach respect. And then as the child grows up and becomes a man, the woman that he meets, he will value her. He will look at her with respect. He'll foresee in her a wife and not just someone he can fucking impregnate and leave. But if he's only raised by a woman alone, in his mind, he's thinking, well, shit, my dad wasn't here. And my mom raised up this whole entire house, so she don't really need me there. Yeah, it's my kid, but I don't really want to take responsibility. So the disassociation is there. And it's heavy. And it's generational, y'all. It is generational. The curse is generational based on what was done to minorities, to families. This started with minorities, y'all. And it has trickled down. It has trickled down the pipeline. Because all the races have, you know, men that want to disassociate themselves from handling their business. But this plagues the majority is families that are minorities. This was done to minority families. Marriages were broken up. Homes were destroyed. The single motherhood era was created based on the fact that you got 5, 6 kids. Here's a benefit for you. And the benefit to those women that were there to protect their children and felt that they had to make that sacrifice, a lot of them did it. A lot of them did not. I'm talking about a lot of them did, but you had some that didn't. They stayed with their husbands. I'm going to look more into this because I remember Larry Elder saying that some had land and they took it from them to force them to like have to depend on the system. But I'm going to look more into this, y'all. And I'm going to make another video of it, or I'm just going to leave it as a resource for y'all on the community page so y'all could like check it up yourself. But Larry Elder, he has his own like channel on YouTube. Okay? He's a Republican black male. He's a very intelligent man. Very intelligent man. This guy will open up your eyes to some shit that y'all have never even heard of. Because you know what's crazy? I knew how the whole system happened. What I didn't know was that they were going to house telling the women, hey, we'll give you this land over here where you could have your little house and you could raise your kids, but you can't be with your husband. That I didn't know. That was some shit I learned from Larry Elder. Like, I knew that they was doing things like breaking up families based upon like the fact that they were offering certain things. Like, I knew there was groups and shit offering benefits. But to the extent of like how the welfare system got created, I didn't know all that. That was something I learned later on in life. You know what I'm saying? When I heard this gentleman talking about it. Talking about how basically homes were destroyed and it was minority homes. They were made into single mother homes, which basically caused the generation to be where they're at today. And y'all, he doesn't talk in depth like I do about certain shit. I mean, I don't really watch his stuff like that. I just seen like a video or two of him talking about it. And I really praise the fact that he brought that to light, because a lot of people don't understand that kids are the way that they are because of what we teach them. We are the way that we are because of what our parents taught us. Our generational ancestors taught us. And if they didn't teach us to value and appreciate the man that we have with us or laying next to us, what are we going to do? We're going to talk about divorce rates and stuff like that in another video, you guys. But this is Broken Glass Houses. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all know the drill. Comment down below, y'all. Ciao, you guys.